Leave the bullshit in the past, we never run behind it. I'm too busy spreading the truth, I feel like Cousin Johnny. Never know who's spreading hate, they always done it quietly. Struggle taught me to spread my wings like I was born a pilot. What we talking about, eat this facts or conspiracies? Just relax, I'ma give you these views from my point of view. I know what you going through, trust me, I done done it too. We know you uncomfortable. This my story, Cousin Johnny, let me run it through. This my story, Cousin Johnny, let me run it through. We tired of they little shows, we need something new. This my story, Cousin Johnny, let me run it through.
All right, so y'all back with the one and only Let's Talk with Cousin Johnny. We got a special guest today. How about you go ahead and introduce yourself and let everybody know where you're from?
Hi, my name is Kelsey Sanders. I'm from Patterson, Louisiana.
The Patterson, the P, 985. You know, anybody from the 985 Patterson area, you know, walk around everywhere they go with a chip on their shoulder. Hey, for real, for real. So I want to talk about a couple of different things with you today. You know, this is mostly about women empowerment. So, you know, I want you to tell me, what does women empowerment mean to you?
Women empowerment means to me sticking together. A lot of times society will try to divide women, and now more than ever we have to stick together.
I agree with you. Yeah, society definitely, you know, try to not only divide women, but just people in general, you know. So, you know, it's major that we all begin to stick together and, you know, work out as a team to figure this thing out. So what do you feel are some things that men can do to assist with the efforts when it comes to women empowerment?
Ooh, I don't even know where to start. I have to say first, it starts with us women being secure in who we are, finding out who we are, and not having to get validation from other people. And once we're in that space and we know who we are and we don't have to seek validation, I think then we can go on to men. But I also think that, you know, men, they put standards out. And so us as women who aren't, you know, secure in who we are, we try to meet those standards. And so that's where all the confusion and divide comes from.
I agree with you. You know, to me, in order to work on anything, you first got to work on yourself and know what it is you want out of life. And, you know, so many people try to, you know, do things for, you know, other people, and they don't even be happy doing it. You know, they try to make other people happy. So I think it all starts with, you know, the person first before they try to, you know, fix or do anything else. So in today's society, you know, when it comes to, we're seeing a whole lot more women become breadwinners in the household. Do you think that's due to men being lazy, or do you think that's honestly due to women just realizing their worth?
Oh, that's a loaded question. Well, you know,
is.
I had this conversation with my friend yesterday. You know, I'm very independent, and it's not because I want to be, but, you know, if I don't do it, who else will, you know? And sometimes we may depend on a man and they may fall short. But also, you know, being so strong-willed and independent, you know, I had to learn how to, you know, step back sometimes and let a man be a man. But at the same time, I'm used to doing it on my own. I have to get my oil changed, get new tires. I have to take the trash out. Like, I have to do all those things. And so, you know, it's just hard. But, you know, at the same time, some men, they just don't hold their weight. But, you know, like I said, we have to step back and let a man be a man. But they also have to be ready to be a man and to lead as well. Right.
You can't, you know what I'm saying, step back and then they not stepping up doing their part. Then, you know, you fall by the wayside, you know, relying on them. So, you know, I think that's definitely good, you know, for when women to be strong like they are today and kind of, you know, take their life into their own hands and not kind of fall back. So just going to kind of jump right into the next question. What do you feel is the difference with women of your grandmother generation compared to the women of, you know, your generation?
I would have to say, and it comes from, I guess, when you think about working. So, you know, when they were able to work, they worked and they stayed at their job until, you know, they retired. And nowadays, you know, us as millennials, you know, we can't stay in the same place for too long. Once we reach that point of cap where we're not learning anymore, we're not being developed, then, you know, it's time for us to move around. We can't stay in that same spot. So I think that's the biggest difference now. But we also have the platform to do what we want to do. We can use our voice, we can speak, and we can, you know, make change of things we don't see that are right as women, for us women.
I agree with you. You know, the millennials, man, you make them mad on their job, they'll quit today and go sleep in their car until they can figure it out. They ain't tolerating nothing. I be saying it. I said, man, these people quit on the drop of a dime now. They don't even care. So in today's times, it's a lot of colorism going on between African Americans and especially in the women community. What are some things you think we could do to fix that?
I've had this conversation before, you know. it's just like I said, society, they put things out there so they, like I've been told before, I've been questioned of my ethnicity or if I was really black because I'm so light skinned and I have good hair. And I'm like, well, what do you mean by good hair? Everybody has good hair. It's just
Right.
our hair texture is different, but there's no less than hair,
Right.
Some people say, well, dark is better. So, we as society, we put those things out there and, it just goes into back to what I was saying, if you're not confident in who you are, you're going to fall into those things. But if you know who you are, then it won't affect you. But I definitely believe that, people put those things out there and we fall to it.
Right. And you said a mouthful. People do fall to, there's nothing wrong with, having, what's the word I'm looking for? Nothing wrong with having, what you like. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with nobody looking the way they are, being who they are.
Right.
People are people. And at the end of the day, we got to start looking past that. Looks are looks. But at the end of the day, when you grow old, what else do you have?
Right.
Looks ain't always hold you.
They're not going to last forever. So what else
they're not
do you
gonna
have?
last forever.
Yeah. And, a lot of, like I said, like the youth there, they see all this, body change and all this stuff on social media. And so they don't think that they're good enough. And so, a lot of people don't realize, but, while I was mentoring, like over the summer, like these are high schoolers and they were saying how much they hated their skin, they hated their bodies. And I'm like, they're just like 17, 18 years old.
That's
and I'm
crazy.
like, I'm almost 30 years old. I still have bad acne. My stomach may hair over my jeans a little bit, but guess what? I don't have a problem getting a man.
Right.
I don't have one right now, but that's just because I choose not to have one. But, at the same time, that's just, superficial things that really doesn't matter. But like I said, social media glorifies all that stuff. And so it affects the youth so bad.
It do. And people fail to realize, man, people don't always, pick somebody based off their looks. It's your confidence. And as long as you're happy with yourself and you love yourself, then people going to see that. And that may attract a lot of people. You don't want nobody just looking at you for looks because at the end of the day, you can find that anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's all about what's underneath their hood or what's in their head. So at the end of the day, we got to get past that. So when you think of a strong woman, what are some words or characteristics that come to mind for you?
When I think of a strong woman, I think she's strong-willed. She's determined. She's passionate about what she's involved with. I can go on and on and on, but
I got you. That definitely makes sense. I feel the same thing also. And I'm happy, you're speaking about that because I want to jump into, entrepreneurship. You took a huge step of faith, quitting, your 9 to 5 and just truly going full-fledged with your business. So kind of talk to me about that process.
So I graduated in 16 from UL with my bachelor's degree. I struggled to find a full-time job. I was working part-time. I finally got a job at Sprint in Lake Charles, and I was commuting back and forth for about a year. And so then I transferred back to Lafayette, and, there it just completely drained me. I absolutely loved my job, but
Right.
It was just the environment and my coworkers. But I started grad school in 2018, and I said, I'm going to just stay here, stick it out until I graduate, and then I can find something else. So in the midst of that, COVID started in 2020, and prior to that, I had been sitting on starting my meal prepping business. I never thought it would be a business. I always said I'll open a restaurant later in life. But when I started meal prepping and posting like on my story on Facebook, people always ask me, hey, do you sell your meal preps? And I'm like, no. And I always said no because I didn't think anybody would really support it. Not that I couldn't cook, but it just was never a thought that I had.
Right. So
once COVID started in 2020, I said, I'm going to start. I didn't start in January. So in March, I started. And from then on, it picked up very fast. And in August, my position went away because we were purchased by T-Mobile. And so I was at a crossroad. It's like, okay, well, do I quit or do I stay just to get a consistent paycheck? But I hate my employees, my coworkers, and I hate this building. Like, I literally wake up with a headache every day coming to this building. So which is going to be?
Right.
So I made that choice.
Hey, and you're doing successful. I'm proud of you. So how did you come up with that name? First, what is the name and how did you come up with it?
So my business name is Eat Fuel Fleurish. So I never forget, we had a vision board party December 2019. I was like, to start this business, I need a name. Like I wrote down, threw away so many pieces of paper, like trying to figure out what am I going to name this business. So I was like, okay, well, what's the first thing? I was like, eat. I was like, okay, well, everybody eats. So that's something easy, eat. So I was like, okay, well, what are we eating? What do we put in our bodies? That's the thing, sometimes we'll eat cookies when we feel like it. Sometimes we may eat a few greens, might drink water, maybe not.
Right.
So, and I was like, this business, I want it to be, people eating food that they enjoy, and not because they're trying to, quote unquote, be on a diet, but just have better eating habits. So that's why I came up with the word fuel. So the food that you're eating is going to fuel your body, to get, if you're working out or just trying to lose weight, whatever the case may be, you're eating things that'll fuel your body to get the results that you want, in essence. And so I had those two words, and I was like, okay, well, now I need something that's going to bring the Louisiana vibe to it.
Right.
So that's why I came up with Flourish, and I was like, well, I'm going to spell it like fleur-de-lis instead of the normal way. And so that's how I came up with it.
I like it, man. It you know what I'm saying? It go with the culture. I like it. So you took a huge step of faith and a gamble on yourself. What helped you make that decision? Or what went into that decision making?
Honestly, probably about this to date, probably a year ago, probably a few weeks, I was like, okay, well, I'm making money. At this point, I was basically making, on the weekends, making my 2-week paycheck in a week. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm making money, like it's consistent, I'm steady growing. So I was like, okay, well, I've been praying for this and I'm getting the results. So I'm like, okay, God, well, just give me another sign that I'm ready to leave my job. So, I started doing Flourish Friday, which is lunch that I sell on Fridays. And then I'll do my meal preps over the weekend. So, I had those two things that went well. And then I actually got a private dinner booking that same weekend. I'm like, okay, well, like this is a sign.
Right.
So after getting those signs, we ask for a sign, but we still sit on it. We don't move on it, right?
Still be nervous.
So, that's when, couple of days later, my manager said, okay, well, you either have to be a sales rep or you need to go somewhere else. So that's really what made me, like, I thought about it, I was like, I do not want to be under his leadership. Like, I don't want him to be my manager that close. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to just do it. Like, the worst case scenario, I'll fail, but at least I tried. So, And
that's the main thing. I think so many times people are afraid of the failure that they, shy away from their dreams because they're afraid to fail. But at the end of the day, you failing by not giving it a shot.
Right.
So, we got something look like bell peppers out there. Talk to us about what that is right there.
So these are my stuffed bell peppers. It's one of my very popular items. It's made with ground turkey, tomatoes, and then cheese, and then it's in a bell pepper. So for all my keto friends, it's keto friendly. I do offer a a vegan version for the vegan people. So you can customize it however you want. Just let me know and I'll do it. But that's what that is right there. I
got you. I'm gonna need some vegan, man. I just decided to go vegan like 30 minutes ago. So you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just go ahead and I'm gonna enjoy that last. That's my last one. I'm gonna go vegan, tomorrow at 7 in the morning.
It's really not that bad, That's what I say. Like, people think about it, but you really just I did vegan for like 2 months, I think. But the biggest thing is you have to season your food to taste, give it flavor, because a lot of people, they'll just throw it in a pot and put salt and pepper, and it's like, nah, you have to work, like put in a lot of work to make vegan food, but it honestly is comparable to eating meat.
I got you. Nothing wrong with that at all. So how did you develop a love for cooking?
So when I was younger, my dad started me. I used to bake like cornbread, and then I got an easy bake oven. So I would almost burnt that thing up because I cooked out of it so much, and so I started there, and then when I got older, I would help my mom cook for holidays, and then I started cooking for myself in high school. And when you go to college, you have to fend for yourself. So that's how I started cooking for myself more. And then I was actually in a pageant, Miss Umoja at UL, 2012, I think. So I was getting ready for competition. So that's when I started meal prepping for myself. So that's how I got into the meal prepping thing.
I got you. All makes sense. So what contributed to you deciding to not only turn to a healthy lifestyle, but to open up a healthy meal prep business? Because, you could, like you say, you could open up a restaurant, so many different food choices, but you decided to go on the healthy side.
Well, what really motivated me to start this was because my dad passed away my senior year in high school from a heart attack. He was diagnosed with diabetes and he had high blood pressure. So one afternoon we were at home And he used to always have nosebleeds, but we never knew why. And so this one afternoon, he literally bled for like hours. We thought he was going to die. That's how much he bled. So when they got him to the hospital, that's when he was told he had diabetes. Well, you know, when you get told that, they give you a paper, they give you medication, and say, here, do this, eat this. Well, he didn't do that. You know, he would still eat sweets. He would still drink milk. He would still drink liquor. So, you know, the night that he passed, he thought that his sugar was low. So he was eating candy trying to bring his sugar levels up. Well, it was actually reversed. So that caused him to go into cardiac arrest. And so that's how he passed. So, you know, from there on, I was like, you know, my mission is to try to educate people, especially in the African-American community. You know, in certain parts of the town, you know, we don't have access to fresh fruit or the best produce, all that stuff. So, you know, my mission is to make healthy easier and convenient. You don't have to have all the money, you know, to make a healthier meal. You know, just swapping out your white rice for brown rice, that's an option. You know, just picking a higher quality of pork if you want to eat pork, you know, all those tips and tricks. But the thing is, they don't have anybody telling us that. So, you know, that's what I want this to be.
And, you know, a lot of people, you know, especially doctors, and nothing against them, they'll tell you that, you know, it runs in the family, you know. But I'm going to be honest with you, that stuff doesn't run in the family. You know, the habits run in the family. You're following the same habits of your ancestors or your grandparents, and that's what leads to the same results that they had.
Right. It's all about what you eat. And so, you know, just trying to educate. Like I said, you still can have your Oreos. This week I ate a whole pan of bread pudding by myself. I'm not ashamed about it, but I know, like, down in my spirit, I know I need to do a juice cleanse and I need to work out. But, you know, like I said, there's not that education there. And, you know, everybody can't afford to get a nutritionist or a dietitian. So, you know, just doing my best to say, hey, you know, are you drinking enough water? Are you eating enough fruit in a day? Like, those things will help you. And it's not rocket science, but it all starts with the knowledge. Who's giving that knowledge out? Right.
And like you say, you know, everybody don't have the money to do that. So what's some resources that people can look to kind of find information on this?
I mean, you can Google. You can, like I said, I use Pinterest to get like ideas, but I think a lot of people want to do like the quick way out. Like they want to eat vegetables and fruit for 2 weeks and want to lose 20 pounds. That's not how it works. You know, it takes time, but a lot of people don't realize is that what you eat makes up, like it's the 80-20 rule. So 80% of what you eat, then 20% of physical activity. So if you eat right, let's say 5 days out the week, Monday through Friday you eat right, Saturday and Sunday you do what you want, you'll see more results opposed to you eating crap 7 days a week and then go and work out every day, you know? So, but a lot of people don't see that because they hear about diet pills, juice cleanses, take this or do that, but you know, they really don't understand the science behind it. It may work, but as soon as you eat the hamburger, you're going to get them 5 pounds that you just peed out right back, you know. So
it's coming back.
It's coming back.
Trust me, I know. They ain't never left. So what are some struggles you face as a female Black business owner?
At first it was resources. Like I started, I didn't know anything. I didn't have any money. Like I was literally just taking money out of my paycheck, putting it to the side, starting. So having resources really to get started. And as I got started, you know, I would get put into contact with certain people who's been there before. But I think the biggest thing is not many people are reaching out, or they say, oh, I want to help. But when you call them, they're nowhere to be found. But also, you know, I always see, you know, people question, well, why are you spotlighting, or why is it important, or why are you putting emphasis on Black owners? Like, you know, female Black, you know, business owners make up majority of entrepreneurs in the United States, you know, so it's very important. But, you know, we also get overshadowed, we get limited to resources, all those things. So when people ask, you know, why Black owners, like, because we matter and we don't get the same opportunity as a Caucasian business owner. For a Black woman, period, is hard, you know.
That's facts.
If you're in the corporate world or if you're not, you know, we have it 3 times harder just to get half of what the man has. Right. So, you know, it's hard. It
is. So I could definitely tell you come from a strong household and, you know, a strong support system and family. What kind of, you know, big influence did they play in your life?
So my mom was a single parent. My dad was around, but my mom, you know, she was the breadwinner. So just seeing her go to work every day, you know, she had to take care of 3 kids. So from right there, when I turned 16, I immediately got a job, and I was like, if I can just have my own money to get the smaller things, because I was in volleyball, basketball, dancing, like I was on every sport in high school. So just to have her pay $200, $300 for the summer, and then, get uniforms and all this stuff for all three of us,
Right.
I was like, I want to do my part. So since then, I always worked. I've had 3 or 4 jobs, so it's just the hustle living. I've seen her, we struggled. So just seeing her get up every day, that made me who I am. And, I'm not scared to work.
Right. And a lot of people is right now. You know what I'm saying? They killing them PPP loans. Hey, they got a list out. They coming for y'all. So what are some advice you may have for somebody that may not have a strong support system or that's kind of second guessing their dreams or talents?
What I always tell people, if there's, I made this post last week, and I was like, funny story, last month, I didn't put out any flyers, I didn't boost any posts,
Right.
and I had the most sales in my career since I started. In actuality, I'm coming up 1 year of being a full entrepreneur. And, like I said, I didn't have any money. I didn't have a kitchen. I didn't have the pots. Like, I didn't have anything, but I just started getting what I could. And, as long as you're doing what you're doing and you're steady trying to perfect your craft, God's going to provide whatever else you need, always. Like I said, I had a catering for 70, and it was doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I was like,
That's a lot.
that's a lot, just by myself. But I was, I kind of second guessed myself, but I'm like, no, God wouldn't give me anything that I can't handle. And,
That's
everything
right.
that I needed, I had. The event went fine. Everybody loved it. Loved the food. So, it's just, what are you doing? Are you going to start and just keep going and just have faith that, everything's going to come together? Or are you just going to keep sitting? Because you can sit on it, but as long as you're sitting, nothing's happening. So
Nothing gonna happen.
it's one or the other.
You get what you put in out of it.
Right.
So I know you're a part of so many different committees, and you do so much for the community. I would like you to share some information about the different committees that you're a part of and how you got started.
So the first organization that I am involved with is Faith House of Acadiana. I am the newly elected board president. I got involved with Faith House in 2012 with UL's campus, and actually, I'm a survivor of domestic violence. I was 16 years old when I was in my situation. And so when I was that young, I didn't know something like this existed. So I didn't know where to go for help. So I suffered alone. So that's how I got involved with Faith House. It's actually helped me be more vocal.
Right.
I'm be able to sit here and do this interview because I'm not a public speaker at all. But, speaking up on something like that, like I almost died. And so to actually
crazy,
be alive, God kept me here for a reason. So it's my duty, to speak up and raise awareness about domestic violence. I'm also the chair for Voices of Acadiana, which is a survivor group. So it's under the umbrella of Faith House. And, we just raise awareness about domestic violence. We do community outreach. And then we also have a committee where we talk about system change. A lot of survivors who go through domestic violence, they have a lot of trouble getting help from the court system. If it deals with custody, protection orders, like
Right.
all those things, they have a lot of trouble. And the thing is, a lot of people just don't understand the psychology behind domestic violence. They just, the abusers, they paint this picture. And so, they just see the picture that's in the public, so they don't believe it. So, we're like, this has been around for a long time. It's been 10 plus years since my situation. A lot of people still don't believe that this is an issue. So,
Definitely an issue.
all right. So, that's what we do with Voices. I am also a member of Lafayette Commission on the Needs of Women. So they're kind of like Voices as well. They fight for women's rights. So equal pay, helping out women,
Right.
things for their kids, stuff like that. So I'm on that. Let's see what else. So many things.
You on a lot.
It's so many things. I don't even know what else do I do. I sit on the National Voices Committee as well. We do webinars, things like that. What else?
That's a lot. So kind of tell me, because I'm not gonna lie, like that's major. You know, that you made it through your situation, and that you're strong enough to not be ashamed of what happened, but also use that as fuel to help save other people that may not have a voice to speak up or afraid to speak up. So kind of what do I know what these mean to you, but kind of tell the public like how important it is to feel, to kind of reach out to some of these things and use it to help yourself get better.
Well, for one, like I said, like all the things that I'm doing, they all tie together, like entrepreneurship, my business, eating healthy. But like I said, one reason why I started was my dad. But secondly, I started cooking more because that was my therapy to healing. Like I said, I didn't really know who to talk to because a lot of people still don't understand. I didn't tell my family for a long time, but it's because I knew they wouldn't understand.
Right.
And, it wasn't that I didn't want to tell them. I just
didn't know how to tell them.
I didn't know how to tell them, and I didn't know think they would understand. So, cooking was my therapy. And in 2012, I almost committed suicide just because it was just that hard, and I just didn't know who to talk to. So, like I said, I actually met somebody. They used to work at Faith House, and so, I felt comfortable talking to them. That was the first person I told, and I was like, okay, well, if they work here, then they won't judge me, because that's the biggest thing that these survivors or victims have, is that they fear being judged. A lot of things are seen in public, but nobody's going to stand up. It's the bystander effect, So, being embarrassed is one thing, and then being judged is another, so a lot of people don't speak up. But like I said, once I found out about Voices and Faith House, all you have to do is call a number. If you don't want to give them your name, you don't have to give them your name. If you need somewhere to stay, the shelter's usually full, which is sad and unfortunate. It's always full. There's never any available beds. But if you need somewhere to stay, they'll help you find somewhere to stay to get you wherever you need to be to get safe. If you call, if you need to talk to somebody, they have assistance. If you need to go to court, they'll watch your kids. If you need to go to group sessions, they have all those things. All you have to do is call a number. You don't have to give your name. If you want to remain anonymous, you can. But there is help out there.
So, man, that's touching. I'm gonna be honest with you. So for somebody that may be watching this, that may be going through some of the similar things that you went through at such an early age, also, what's some advice that you could give them that kind of help you overcome what you was going through?
I actually had somebody reach out to me, asking the same thing, how can I help, or things like that. And I said, the biggest thing is that you have to find somebody that you trust, just one person, whoever it may be. And I always say, teenagers, parents have to understand that they may not be the person that their child goes to, and you have to accept that, but tell them and say, okay, well, if you're not comfortable talking to me or your dad, vice versa, do you want to talk to your aunt, your cousin? Right. But whoever they say, they have to let them know that it's okay, that they don't feel comfortable enough to talk to them. And it's not anything personal, but they just don't feel comfortable. And like I said to somebody else, your parents, they don't judge you, but the way that they respond almost feels like judgment. Right. I'm almost 30 years old, and then before I told my mom I quit my job, I was afraid of what she was going to say. And when I got off the plane in California, she called me, she was yelling. Right. And I'm like, but I'm saying, just parents telling their kids, just having that discussion, saying, okay, if you don't feel comfortable talking to me, and it could be sex, relationship, all those things, you can talk to so-and-so. And they need to let them know that whatever you tell them, it's between you guys, but also having trust between them, if it's something that's harmful to them, to tell their parents, but just giving them that okay, if you don't want to talk to me, you can talk to this person. And that's all you need is that one person, but also when you're talking to that one person, make sure that you're giving a full effort, to try to heal and get through whatever you're going through.
Because I'll be honest, you said a mouthful. I think our parents, is not that they don't want to listen or, they don't want to be there. I think their generation and their parents, you were taught to just be quiet and listen.
Exactly.
And you didn't really have a voice. And, this generation here is more vocal. They want to know the why behind the why. And I honestly think that's good, because at the end of the day, if we can't understand why somebody feel that way, or they can't talk about it, they're going to feel like they don't have a voice. And it's going to lead to a bunch of different things. So, I truly challenge all parents out there to listen to your kids. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to do it the old school way. Just because that worked for your parents don't mean it's going to work for, your kids. So just be open to try different things with your kids. I think that's very necessary. So you're a very successful woman and definitely an example of, black women excellence. Who would you contribute a lot of your success to?
Like I said, my mom, she's one, and my cousin. They're both very, very strong women, but also my mentor. When I first saw her speak, I was like, wow, I want to be like her. And, from then on, I would sit with her, watch her, learn from her. And she basically molded me, but although she taught me how to grind, not to accept a no.
Right.
One no, you might get 10 no's, but that one yes will get you somewhere. So, never be afraid to be who you are, stand in your truth. And as long as you do that, you can be who you want to be. Do what you want to do.
I agree with you. So what's next for Kelsey?
Eat Fuel Fleurish is growing. And so my next plan is to grow the business, so to expand, hire employees, things of that nature. That's what I'm focused on now. I do want to open up a restaurant.
Right.
So still thinking on that. And I have other few things outside of food that, business ideas that I want to do. But, I don't get enough sleep. I'll have 10 million things written down that I need to do. But like I said, I love what I do. And I definitely would not go back to my job if there's not enough money.
So don't call her. Don't call her. She ain't coming back.
But also, I've been saying I was going to do it, but working on a cookbook and then trying to get my YouTube channel up and running. So, because a lot of people say, well, you need to cook, or what's this, what's that. I started doing it, but, meal prepping, that just, I record and stuff, but it's like you have to edit.
Right. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, So by the time I'm done cooking and delivering, it's a whole nother day. It's Monday again.
Right.
But, those are the things that I am working on, trying to get rolling before 2021 ends.
Sorry, Kelsey, we appreciate you coming on the show today. Could you tell everybody how they can get in contact with you if they're looking for you?
So you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Eat Fuel Fleurish. Flourish is spelled Fleurish. You can contact me at 337-366-1161 or at eatfuelflourish@gmail.com.
And today's episode was sponsored by Eat Fuel Fleurish. We got the hat and we got the food up there, and I'm about to bring it home in a minute. But on that note, we out, man. We appreciate y'all.
That's my story, cousin Johnny. Let me run it through. It's a real one. Yeah. Leave the bullshit in the past. We never run behind it. I'm too busy spreading the truth. I feel like cousin Johnny. Never know who's spreading hate. They always done it quietly. Struggle taught me to spread my